Hey, how's it going? This is Anthok, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you Satisfactory on the Steam Deck. There'll be some gameplay and the settings that I use for some pretty good performance. Hope you enjoy. First of all, I will say that Satisfactory is not a deck-verified game. It does have a yellow exclamation mark that you can see when I launch the game. That means that it is not officially certified to be great on deck. However, it does work. One thing that took me a little bit of time to figure out was the control scheme for Satisfactory. That was likely the biggest hurdle that I would say you will encounter when trying to run Satisfactory on your Steam Deck. Getting the control scheme to work and understanding which buttons do what took me a little bit of time because there is so much to this game. I think that anyone who has played the game before would have an easier time, but this was my first experience playing Satisfactory ever. It's a game that I knew I would enjoy, and I purchased in a bundle a while back, and thought this would be fun on the Steam Deck, not even thinking that it would be supported or not. When I got my Steam Deck, I saw that it wasn't officially supported, so I held off on trying it. But in seeing recent forums online, some people said that they had ran it just fine, so I thought I would boot it up and give it a go. A couple things that I am doing with my settings. First off, I put everything on low just because I don't want to overheat the system. I want to play as long as possible, and even on low, things look amazing for this game. Another thing that I did was set the frame rate limit to 40 frames a second along with the screen setting to 40 Hertz just to match the maximum frame rate that I wanted to use. This is a nice compromise between frames and battery saving performance. Another thing I did was lower the TDP, which is the amount of power that the CPU is allowed. I believe, I may not be fully correct on that, but I lowered that to 7. So it is only using about half of the total power that the Steam Deck has, but I have noticed the fan almost doesn't run at all when playing this game. At least when it does run, it's on a very low setting, and I don't hear the fan at all. It doesn't bother me. If I ran it at the full 15 watts that the Steam Deck is capable of, the fan goes most of the time, and you don't get anywhere near the amount of time of play. You'll see in this video that I actually get around 2.5 to 3 hours of playtime. I'm not fully charged right now at the time of recording, but it's close to 3 hours total when fully charged, which is pretty satisfying, no pun intended. This game I've played for almost 5 hours at this point, and I've really enjoyed it. Fully played this on the Steam Deck. A couple of things that I've done with the controls as well. I modified some of the controller layouts from the highest rated controller layout. If you didn't know, on Steam you can pick tons of different controller layouts because there are so many buttons on the Steam Deck. The community will make a button layout and you can pick different ones. I just picked the most rated one, or the highest amount of playtime, which is a modified DualShock 4 control scheme, and that allows the left touchpad to be used as a dial to pick from your quick select menu, and the right touchpad was used for a flashlight or something else, but I changed that on my own to act as a mouse because there's a lot of mouse input for this game, and I don't really like using the analog stick for mouse input. The analog stick does work fine for mouse input, but sometimes I prefer to use the trackpad. Another thing I changed is one of the rear buttons was a duplicate button for jump, so I changed that to some other button, some other function within the game, and it works really well. You'll see in the top corner that I have 40 frames a second almost all the time. It does dip. I've never seen it dip below 25, but I'm really not that far into the game. I would imagine that when you have hundreds of machines running and there are tons of things being computed, this game would slow down significantly. But from what I've done, which is, 5 hours of play, I've never seen it stutter to a point where it was unplayable. It's been really enjoyable, and like I said, I have modified those settings to make it a little more playable on the Steam Deck. I would recommend that if you've played Satisfactory before, or you're interested in playing Satisfactory, you give it a try on the Steam Deck. I think it's a worthwhile game to play on the Steam Deck, especially if you're just starting out and you don't have tons of machines. Again, I can't speak to the Steam Deck running when you have hundreds of machines going, but like I said, I imagine it would slow down a little bit. Satisfactory does have a multiplayer component that I have not yet tested, but I would imagine it would be very fun to play on the Steam Deck in a multiplayer server that someone else is running. I imagine you'd be able to play for much longer because the Steam Deck isn't doing a lot of the computing. It would be done on the server side, and you would be able to play in that multiplayer game probably a little bit longer than you would in a single-player game where the Steam Deck is doing all of the processing. I found this game to be really fun, and like I said, I do recommend it. Here, I'll be really quiet for a moment. You'll be able to hear that the fan is running at a very, very low rate, and it's not even audible most of the time I'm playing this game. Here you go. Take a listen. I also turned on the Gyro Controls for the Steam Deck. I like using Gyro Controls. It allows me to be a little more accurate in certain occasions. This is activated by just putting your thumb on the analog stick or on the touchpad and then moving the Steam Deck around. Some people don't like this, but after a little bit of practice, I find it to be pretty second nature. But you can always turn that off. Usually it's not on by default, and you need to turn it on if you like using those gyro controls. Overall, I'm really happy playing Satisfactory on the Steam Deck, and I look forward to playing it much, much more. Do you think you'll play Satisfactory on the Steam Deck? If you had a Steam Deck, would you give this a try? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know other games you want me to try on my Steam Deck. I'm really enjoying the Steam Deck as a whole, and most of the games I've tried have given me absolutely no issues. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and take care.